So this is actually a fairly heavily requested video I've had over the last few days. It is a documentary about the worst esport of all time, of course, being FIFA, by a YouTuber called Ty360. I will leave the link to the original video in the comments. Drop him a sub. He's trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm told it's a really cool video. We're going to watch together. I'd appreciate any comments. If you enjoy these me reacting to stuff style videos, then do leave a like. Show me you want more. Subscribe. And let's get into it. I'm looking forward to this one. If you need the cheapest FC25 coins to build your super team, then check out MMOEXP by clicking the link down below and use code JambooUK for 5% off. Okay, so we're going to watch this together, and I'm going to chip in where possible, give my thoughts. Obviously, this is about not just specifically the game, but the esport, and I was a pro player back in the day. So a lot of this will relate to sort of my journey, I guess, as well, and I can give sort of my perspective of things that we see in the video. So let's get into it.
Ranked mode known as FUT Champ. In 2016, EA Sports announced their new competitive system that would shape the future of the football gaming franchise.
I remember the hype, man. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy. The hype for FUT Champions.
The ranked mode known as FUT Champions promised to allow FIFA players to show off their skills and compete with the best, and in return, they would win in-game rewards based on their rankings. On top of that, the best players could qualify for events where they could win real prize money and gain exposure like they'd never experienced before. Esports organizations and football clubs alike began signing highly skilled FIFA players to prepare for what EA had in store for the future.
That is what happened with me. I signed for West Ham United playing this game as a pro. And like I say, the hype was insane. You see here, FIFA 17, $1.3 million in prizes. At this point, everything was looking up in the scene. 7 odd years ago from now.
Prize pool of $1.3 million signaled a good first step for FIFA 17. The idea seemed to be exactly what the community needed.
We wanted the competitive scene to grow. A game mode like this was definitely needed, you know.
From the outside looking in, FIFA had finally become a fairly respectable esport, and it felt like EA were ready to push their game to the next level. At least, that's what they wanted everyone to think.
Every game on FIFA 20 is a 50-50. Like, he'll win the next one, I'll win this one, because the game is so, like, unrewarding, and no one enjoys playing it, but, you know.
I'm out of words at this point, and I'm really convinced that FIFA 20 is just a social experiment at this point. I don't understand, but this is crazy, man.
Conceded 2 goals to make it 2-2, but luckily the kickoff glitch is still in the game, and yeah.
But this game now makes me sad.
Makes me sad as well, Boris.
As we see,
remember that rage quitting at the event.
And realistic football game, and they've succeeded in neither department. The gameplay simply isn't fun. The results are often unfair.
How are you supposed to know to abuse the mechanics if you're new to the community? And that's the problem with this game. I think to myself, of people that don't know about the broken mechanics, how do you pick this game up and go, oh wow, this is good?
This game's an embarrassment. What an absolute embarrassment.
Kurt, what a guy.
Oh my God. What an embarrassment of a video game.
Above all, widen the logo.
The cycle.
$27,000. This was roughly the average real-life currency value of a competitor's team at a tournament in January of 2019.
I'm not too sure about that one. Yeah. I mean, people were having to spend thousands and thousands to qualify and stuff. And obviously at the event, you did have unlocked accounts with every player on. 27,000 seems a bit high, but don't get me wrong, it would still be an extortionate amount.
Although these teams and cards don't have any real-world physical value, you can get a rough estimate based on the coin value of the player and how many FIFA points would need to be spent to get there. EA could have chosen any game mode to carry out competitive FIFA, but they chose Ultimate Team. Why? Most importantly, it's the only game mode that features microtransactions.
Correct.
But why do casual players and professionals alike feel the need to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars each and every year? Other competitive game modes such as Rocket League, Fortnite, and League of Legends have all found ways to make money from in-game purchases that do not result in a competitive advantage for players. FIFA is one of the only esport titles where spending more money can provide a competitive in-game advantage.
With a game like FIFA, repurchase it every year
annually at full price, $60 and now $70. And then you have your microtransactions reset, so you have to re-gamble for all the items that you earned and pay for that stuff all over again.
FIFA is different from almost every other esport because it releases a brand new game every year. This means that each year the old FIFA becomes a thing of the past. It's been out for a year, the gameplay feels the same, and you already have all the best players. There's nothing to look forward to anymore, but a new one is just around the corner. All of the new players and coins on the previous year's FIFA are now irrelevant. You build your club again from scratch. It's a new cycle. Each year is a reset, both in-game and mentally for the player. The old game got boring, and you're ready for a new challenge. So, what do you do at the start of one? Of course, you could just simply play games with your starter squad and struggle your way through division rivals, or even squad battles. Or you could trade on the live transfer market, hoping you learn how to make enough coins fast enough to justify spending time on the market instead of actually playing the game you just paid for. But why not just scroll over a couple tabs?
This is what makes me so sad, the way it's gone, where it's literally about sitting on the menu rather than playing the game. Like, people these days, you know, enjoy like the pack grind and that sort of stuff. It's never been for me, never ever. I want to get on and actually play football, which is what the game should be in my opinion. It's just sad. It's sad.
The game is designed to push you in this direction. It's the simplest way, and you get the addictingly satisfying enjoyment of opening packs. For pros especially, this cycle just hits harder. Every year feels like a new chance. A chance to join an established organization, or maybe even your favorite club team. It's a chance to start the year with a better in-game squad by spending more money, or hopefully just packing better players. A chance to qualify for events and get seen on the big stage. A chance to make a living as a professional gamer. It's not hard to fathom that people want to chase this vision, and EA knows exactly how to sell it to you.
I remember every year I would have to spend thousands to
FIFA
compete.
Ultimate Team, the negative motivation is if you don't pay, you fall behind. You competitively won't be able to keep up. Give us money now.
Let's talk pay to win in FIFA. This could be an entire video in itself, and it likely will be in the future. Although EA have come under heavy scrutiny for their use of loot boxes, especially in a competitive game mode, it continues to be the backbone of their sports games. I'll start with this. By no means am I saying that buying FIFA points is a guaranteed way to success in competitive FIFA. Player skill is still the most important aspect.
True.
You could even make the argument that pay to win has become less of a factor than it once was due to the release of more cards and an overall cheaper market. It is now possible.
The biggest thing they did, which reduced the pay to win, was the fact that they allowed pros to start using like loan cards and stuff like that. And it even got to the point where they were giving out loan cards, like top ones. I remember a couple of years ago, you could get like a loan R9 and stuff. So that did reduce it, but it's still, you know, pretty disgusting to this day.
To obtain great in-game players at cheaper prices than ever before, but certain top-tier cards will always hold advantages over those now cheaper meta cards, and their market prices still fully reflect this. EA have also implemented certain squad restrictions for some online qualifier events, but even still in FIFA 23, it would take nearly 20 million coins to achieve a maxed out meta team, and that's just the starting 11. For the many of those who do spend money at the start of FIFA and throughout the cycle, there is still an undeniable advantage. Let's create a visual. Let's say Timmy, Brad, and Chad all start here at the launch of FIFA 23. Timmy decides to not spend money at the start. He'd rather grind objectives, SBCs, and get a little trading advice on the side. A noble choice. Brad decides to use some money from his summer job and puts in $200. This will give him a nice jumpstart. Meanwhile, Chad is a professional FIFA player. Thanks to his previous tournament winnings and help from his esports team, he's able to put in $3,000. If we tracked the value of their foot clubs over the span of a FIFA cycle, we'd likely see an exponential difference between the three of them. Timmy is at a disadvantage
100%.
because at the start of the game, when making coins is generally the easiest, he doesn't have any to really kickstart the process. His team will be worse, and likely his rewards will be too. Brad will be able to build a cheap meta team, or even do some high volume trading if he so wishes. He'll likely be able to compete against most players early on. But meanwhile, Chad raked in millions of coins before he's even played his first game. He's built a professional level squad in a matter of hours. This will only make it easier for Chad to rank higher in weekend league and division rivals, get better rewards faster, and have a better chance at qualifying for events. Timmy and Brad have always been interested in getting into competitive FIFA, but they're now discouraged. To really match Chad, it will either take a lot of money or a lot of time. It's just simply EA's business model equation. To reiterate, spending money does not equal competitive success, but it can provide you a significant advantage. And if you spend enough money, you will be able to buy the best players that Ultimate Team has to offer.
So yeah, I've spent a lot of money on FIFA points. In this video, we're gonna go through every pro team I've used from FIFA 18, where we spent $100, and FIFA 23, where we're gonna spend roughly $10,000. Yes, guys.
Jesus.
In a game where it's common for competitors to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars at the start of each game, you'd expect lucrative prize pools to match this. The reality is much different. In several major LAN tournaments from FIFA 17 onward, many competitors who may have traveled thousands of miles walked away with just $750. Accounting for organization fees, taxes, and the money
I remember I finished top 4 at the Premier League. FIFA, it might have been 20, either that or 19. And top 4, by the way, in the Premier League's official UK tournament. And I think I was paid $500. Genuinely, like, disgraceful. Disgraceful.
On their teams. This probably didn't feel too rewarding. Players placed 9th through 64th in certain tournaments would receive only global series points without a cash prize whatsoever. As pointed out by me 4 years ago, they would have actually been better off playing at my local radio station.
Oh my
In
God.
FIFA 19, the E-Premier League had a competition where all 20 teams were represented by a competitive FIFA player, but there was no prize money to be won.
No prize pool.
In
I
FIFA
remember
22,
one of them.
online qualifier prize pools looked like this, with just 8 players getting payouts. As I mentioned earlier on, EA contributed $1.3 million when they launched FUT Champions in the FIFA 17 cycle. 5 full game cycles later, EA contributed $3.3 million for the full FIFA 22 competitive season. This just barely more than Bugha made for placing first in Fortnite's 2019 World Cup. And if we look across the 6 different game titles from FIFA 17 to FIFA 22, EA have contributed just over $12 million into the competitive FIFA prize pools. To show the scale once more, that's still less than the amount that Epic Games spent on the 2019 Fortnite Solo World Cup, just half the total prize money for one tournament. Despite EA growing massively over the recent years, especially during the peak of COVID, we haven't seen this reflected at all in the prize pools. Although champions and runner-ups do get a fairly respectable payout, the payouts for these spots haven't really grown over the recent years. EA CEO Andrew Wilson has stated that once EA officially parts ways with FIFA, it should open the door for more interesting possibilities for the game as a whole.
I mean, that was
especially
the biggest load of cap I've ever heard.
EA is not partnered with FIFA. That means that they can take sponsorships and work with brands that compete with FIFA partners. That means they can work with more brands that bring in more sponsorships for bigger prize pools and more content opportunities.
Many players obviously rely on salaries from their clubs or other revenue streams as a content creator, but wouldn't it be nice if they could occasionally look forward to big tournament payouts too? It's difficult to gain widespread awareness for an esport if the money you're playing for is almost negligible. Lucrative prize pools provide incentive for pro players, interest from casual players, and ultimately, a reason to truly care about the competitions. It should say a lot that we're this far into the video, and I haven't even talked about how bad the gameplay is and the bugs that come with it.
Yeah, true. True.
Oh my God! What? Hold on. Has he saved that? How's that allowed?
It's actually mind-blowing. Like, when you actually sit there and think about this, how many issues there are. You could genuinely go on all day. All day. It's like I say, it's really mind-blowing. But more than anything, I think it's just sad. Because the potential that this game has, with it being the football game, with all the licensing, like, there's an argument that this should be the biggest esport in the world. And it is quite legitimately the worst esport in the world. It's just sad.
Each iteration of FIFA comes with its own problems, and we've seen many over the years. Where do we begin?
Courtois doesn't get down! Oh, it's a mess! That almost feels deserved after the first goal. I was about to say whatever De Gea can do.
From El Tornado and La Croqueta in FIFA 19.
His composure. Can he find a
they were
chance?
some
Havertz
bad
again.
days.
2, 3. It's magic from Marcuso.
Drop back and play possession in FIFA 20.
Take me back.
The fullbacks
honestly.
playing center back in FIFA 21. Every game has a meta to abuse. Playing during a promotion, during weekend league, or late at night all come with varying speeds of gameplay. Playing at certain times of the day or week can mean you need to play with a different playstyle because of the number of people on the game at one time. Overpowered defensive AI allows for auto blocks from defenders that you aren't even controlling, and also promotes lazy, yet effective defending.
Virgil van Dijk just pretty much earning them Rajic.
What is that, brother? Oh my god.
Competitive FIFA is based off of 1v1 or 2v2 matches, but there are 22 in-game players. This means at any given time, you're only controlling a small fraction of your team. A pro club style competition logically makes more sense, but this is still very much in the early stages and has several potential flaws to it as well.
Pro clubs will never be the esport because, obviously, as we've been through in this video, the prize pools are already so bad, right? So how are they going to fund 11v11? Every player has to get paid through all the teams. Like, it's just never, ever, ever happening.
Gameplay is consistently inconsistent. You could repeat one action 5 times over and get a different result every time. Not ideal for an esport game. Animation glitches still run rampant. Whether it be the ball going through your player's foot or your goalkeeper's hand.
Eusebio steps up down the middle and somehow, how is he not saved?
Direct free kicks inside the penalty box. Or your players deciding that gravity doesn't apply to them today.
What the hell was that? This is sent from PlayStation. This is real.
No one game of FIFA has the same animations.
There's no way.
Entire gameplay overhauls less than a month in. Hidden patch note updates. Animations that only slow the game down. Camera angles that don't quite make sense. Green timed finesse shots.
Oh, you could go on all day, man. It is
horrendous, unexplainable CPU errors.
He goes across and it does not lock on.
Constant pressure and overload ball side from teams that are never short on stamina. New no loss glitches found in nearly every game.
There is a no loss glitch in every mode on FIFA. On both consoles.
How did we get here, brother?
And it's all built on a Frostbite game engine that has faced nothing but backlash from gamers and experienced developers alike. FIFA franchise gameplay embodies everything that an esport shouldn't be.
No way. It seems literally invisible.
Glitches are abundant, consistency is unheard of, and credit cards might buy you a few extra wins. And if the gameplay inconsistencies weren't bad enough, you often have to fight the servers as well.
Maybe there's attack potential here as Rashford picks up the ball. Looks like they might have a little pause in the game here. But let's talk about how good Venny has been so far for Southampton, Dan. He has been absolutely superb. I mean, he couldn't have played a better game. Maybe put in one of those chances away. Might have made
This is ridiculous. If you guys, feel a certain way about the video today, are you kidding me? The servers are down right now? All right, hold up, dude.
If I didn't have the filter mode on for the Net Duma, I matched up with European servers over here, African servers, South American servers, right? It's actually...
And it's Hashtag who are trying to find their way towards goal, but unfortunately there's a technical error in that game.
There's a few major issues that have been prevalent with EA's FIFA servers over the years. But let's start with server overload. By now, most Ultimate Team players know to stay away from gameplay anytime a new promotion is released. These are generally peak hours for casual and hardcore players alike to be on the game at the same time. During these periods, input lag and server disconnects seem to be much more common in gameplay, and fighting it can seem pointless at times.
What do you mean you're gonna check the match report? What is that?
And although disconnect losses seem to be less common now than they once were,
GG's, 5-0.
They could often cost pro players valuable wins during periods where they were trying to qualify for events.
I remember one specifically we had, I think it was in FIFA 18, when qualifying for events was through FUT Champions. It was called like the Last Chance Weekend, and you had to play it through FUT Champs, and people were literally missing out on the event because they were getting like 1 DC, and obviously you had to get like 40 out of 40. I think it still was back then, or at least 30 out of 30 wins. And yeah, their careers were literally being affected by disconnects in a one-off weekend league. Like, it's really bad.
Bro.
He now knows.
So that's where Mark spotted straight away.
Now he's seen
Oh,
it.
this one was insane. I remember this, man.
Headphones coming out. Demon see it as well. Hand up 3 times.
The thing is as well, sorry to interrupt Rachel, is that Mark is also trying to still do his job of taking a penalty shootout when knowing that that's there. Steps up from the spot, and he's saved again!
And you can see the controllers on screen. So clearly Mark is upset, waves his hand to say, hey, can you correct this? And apparently once you actually notify admins they're supposed to, they didn't. So this is a $150,000 call that it costs one player, not the other. And it just sucks because it taints both sides, even taints the victory for Manu.
Making mistakes is one thing, and no one company or person is perfect. Mistakes are bound to happen. But if instead of learning from those mistakes, you continue to make them and avoid taking real accountability for them, there lies a
boils
deeper
down
problem.
to they
In
actually
order to
just
keep their
don't
main
care.
account clean and for players to keep up with all of the errors, they even had to make an entirely separate communications account, and even this account goes silent at times. If something goes wrong, they can always promise that it will be better next year, because at the end of the day, they still have the football game market cornered and the esport along with it.
Yeah.
Despite all of its flaws, FIFA is still by far and away the most advanced football game on the market, all things considered. As long as their profits continue to grow and they aren't properly held accountable, they have no real reason to change their ways or overhaul the predatory system they have built.
Really good video. Really good video. A lot of good points. Like I say, I'm going to leave the link in the description below. Go and drop him a sub. Really, really well put together video. But I'd be interested to hear your guys' thoughts as well. Congrats to Ty for making the video. I know it's doing really well for him. Leave a like if you enjoyed. I'd interested to have your comments down below. You know, if you want to put them in there, that'd be appreciated. We can have a discussion about the esport and the game in general. But I'll catch you guys on the next one. I enjoyed making this, and peace.